Want to learn what it takes to be a children's book illustrator? Then you've come to the right place. My name is Tonya Duncan Ellis, and I am a children's author and host of Write This, my author interview show, where I interview illustrators and authors about their careers. And today I am excited to welcome on an award-winning artist, Shamar Knight Justice, to come on and talk about his newest project. He is an illustrator that I met at an SCBWI, Society of Children's Book Writers and Illustrators conference a couple of weeks ago. And I was excited to learn about his upcoming project, Big Tune, which is a picture book written by author Aaliyah Agostini. It's Big Tune, Rise of the Dancehall Prince. And it looked adorable. So I can't wait to talk to Shamar about the process that he used to create the beautiful illustrations and just learn about his life as an illustrator. And I see that he has joined on, so I'm going to invite him in. For joining, I see some of my author friends on. Thank you so much for tuning in. Let me get Shamar on here. Okay, there he is. Hey, how you doing?
Hey, how's it going?
Oh, fine. I'm so happy to have you in. I've been looking at your book, checking it out online, and it looks like it's amazing.
You know, I really appreciate it, and I appreciate the invite on this show to be able to just talk about the book and be able to bring Shane to life.
Yes, because when I met you at the Society or SCBWI, Society of Children's Books Writers and Illustrators in New York about a week or so ago, we didn't get to talk much, but I was like, man, I wish I had gotten to learn more about his books. We were at an event, like a social gathering, a little networking event, but it looks so cool. And I want to learn all about the book and also about your journey as an illustrator, because on my show, I talk to a lot of writers, and you're the first illustrator that I've had.
Yeah.
So it'd be cool to learn about what the process is for creating the drawing behind the work. But can you tell us a little bit about yourself, where you're from, and a little bit about your background?
Yeah, so my name is Shamar Knight Justice. I'm currently living in Atlanta, Georgia. By day, I'm an elementary school principal at a school called Ethos Classical. And been in Atlanta for the last 5 to 6 years with my wife. We moved from DC, but we met each other in Charlotte, North Carolina, where I started in education. I'm a proud alum of North Carolina A&T State University, but grew up in the Washington, D.C. suburbs in Northern Virginia.
Okay. Now, how did you get involved in being an artist? Have you always drawn, or how did that come about?
So I've always drawn, but I never had any like formal art training. As far as I never went to school for art. I was always a kid who was doodling in a notebook, or you know, just being off task and just like doodling to the side. And I would do like different art clubs and events after school when I was in elementary and middle school, but kind of got away from it once I got to high school. I just didn't dedicate a lot of time towards it, even though I did it more on the side, but didn't do it as much formally. But I picked it back up recently. So when the pandemic hit, being in education and being in an elementary school, we were virtual for so long that the way that the day was scheduled just different, to where I wasn't in the building, you know, from 7 to 5 like I was before. So because of that flexibility in schedule, I was looking for something to help fill that time. And, you know, just being inside the house all the time, you know, I think all of us were driven a little crazy. So I was trying to figure out where to put that energy. And my wife ended up buying me an iPad. And then on my iPad, I was like, you know what, maybe I'll just draw, and I'll just doodle, and I'll just use this to be able to pick it back up as a hobby. And I just really just got obsessed with it again, just found that love for illustrating, and would draw, you know, 2 to 3 hours a day, just like practicing, watching videos, looking at just different picture books. And that kind of got me with the skills and the discipline and the practice, be able to translate that into bookmaking.
Right, that's amazing. So you really have a natural talent then for the drawing, because you have not had any formal, because if you check out his website and check out his Instagram page at your illustrations are beautiful.
Thank you.
So this is something. So what did your wife say when she saw your work, or what had she seen any of your drawings before this?
She knew I had drawn before and that I could draw, like just through drawing random things around the house, or just I don't know. I have like an obsession with picture books, so just looking at all the books around the house and being like, oh, like, can you? She would ask like, can you do that? And it was hard at first, like being able to warm back up and kind of like knock the cobwebs off, like took time and practice. But she's always been super, super supportive. She's kind of like my unofficial art director. Like she sees everything before I send an email to an art director or respond to feedback. Another fun fact about me is I'm partially colorblind. So colors are very challenging for me. And I mix them up all the time. So even before I send something out, or if I'm playing around with something, I'll have her look at it, and like the question I ask her multiple times a day is, what color is this? Or like, is it the color that I intended it to be? Because many times when I'm drawing and putting the art together, I'm putting together colors that I feel like look right next to each other, but it may not necessarily be the right color for something.
Right. That is amazing. So how did you get into traditionally, you have another book, don't you, that came out before this one? How many books do you?
Yep. So Big Chin will be the second published book. My first published book was written by Aine Drew, which was R.A.J's Kinky Curly Crown. That released in February 2021. And then from there, things kind of just like picked up. So Aine and I had worked with each other at a previous school, and she had been writing for a long time, and because of our relationship, she had reached out to me and asked if I was interested in illustrating. And I was like kind of like nervous about the opportunity because I'd never done it before, but definitely like extremely grateful for it. So I just took the time. It took me a long time to do that book. I think I didn't really understand all that went into a book, and just like the many iterations of it, the demand of how much art you actually are completing for a book. So that book definitely helped me build in some best practices and some strategies to be able to tackle future books, so that I'm able to do sketches, get them done, give feedback, revise, do all the different things and parts of the process without feeling overwhelmed or just feeling like it's too daunting.
Right. Now your students, you shared that you're a principal at a school.
Yeah.
So are you familiar with your work? What did they say about it?
Yeah. So when the first book came out 2 years ago now, they were just really, really excited to see it. It was funny because it was like almost like a mini, like everybody knew me already because I'm the principal, but it was like the first time where I felt like a mini like book celebrity and walking through the hallways and just seeing everybody. So it was like a joy to just feel that. And it's also just fun to be able to talk to scholars about illustration, about books, about their ability to just be able to do the same thing I'm doing, that there's nothing that is unattainable, and especially with bookmaking. So I want them to realize, like, hey, this could be a career if you choose it to be. This could be a path for how you continue to be creative. We also do a lot of focus on arts instruction at our school. We consider ourselves like a small liberal arts school. So creativity is really, really important. So I want them to be able to see that them drawing in class or being creative is something that you're like developing. You're having fun, but you're also developing real skills that you can apply in this tangible way.
Right. That's so inspiring, and it just offers another outlet to the kids for something different they can do.
Yeah.
Cool. Now, what about the process with Big Tune that's coming out in the end of March, right?
Yeah.
Your author is Aaliyah Agostini. Yeah. So what's the process for producing the book? What did you have to do once you were signed on? And what was the whole process from the beginning?
Yeah, so my agent is Chrissy Urich from the Cat Agency. So once I signed with her, like because of her reputation and just her skill set, she was able to bring in a lot of traffic into people who were editors and art directors to be able to see my work. And Aaliyah was the first one who actually reached out to me, or reached out to Christy once I was signed. So she was the very first offer that I ever received from like a major publisher. So like once that happened, like it was really me just like getting the ball running. I always like to meet up with all the authors and just talk to them and just get their vision for the book. So before I drew anything, I just made sure I was able to talk with her, figure out, you know, what does she want to be true for the book and for the text? What does she want to be true for Shane? And from there, I just started doing character sketch after character sketch after character sketch until I finally found a look for Shane that felt good and just felt just playful enough and just had the energy of what came across in the words, because I wanted to make sure that he was truly reflective in his appearance. And
Storyline. What is the book?
Yeah. Yep. So Big Tune follows the Jamaican American boy growing up in New York in the 1990s, who is saving up money to be able to buy new shoes for the neighborhood bashment, which is like a basement party. So he's saving up the money. He's recycling old bottles and tin cans to be able to get money, and he wants to be able to buy these shoes because he feels like with the shoes it will give him the confidence that he needs in order to show off all his dance moves that he's been working on. It comes to the day of the party, and Shane's ready. He's ready to go buy his shoes and dance, but the speaker ends up blowing, so they can't. So the party gets canceled. What Shane does, though, is instead of going to buy shoes, he uses his money to go and buy a new speaker so that the party can continue. So it's kind of like that, just that story about just being able to be resilient, to be just generous, and just be creative. And I hope that just like those different values are reflected in Shane and his story.
Oh, that's cool. And then it displays that culture and the time period.
Yeah. So what was really fun about it is just like being able to put the different dance hall dance moves on display through Shane and his practicing. Shane's dad is the dance hall king, so that's why Shane is the dance hall prince. So he looks up to his dad and just thinks about just like, you know, continuing that legacy. And then there's a lot of 90s culture mixed out in the end pages. You'll see a lot of different artwork that reflects the time period, the clothing styles, and then just the imagery in Shane's bedroom too has a lot of 90s aesthetic in it.
That's sad for me. See, I'm from the 90s time. It was my time. So like now it's retro. So hey.
Yeah, now it's throwback. But there's so many good pieces. It's like it's so fun. It's fun that it's coming back. Just so that I feel like younger generations are able to participate and see it and understand it and be able to have fun with it as well.
Yeah, this sounds so fun. So how long does it take you when you're coming up with concepts? Like how do you even put things together? Do you use pictures of real children or how?
Yeah.
I don't know about the process. So could you describe some of it for us?
Yeah, so with the drawing piece, be able to do the character design, I'm doing a lot from my mind at first and just like doing just like basic character structure. Once I'm able to put the character structure together, then I'm just playing around with different facial expressions. I'm looking at different movies in the 90s. So I went on like a Spike Lee just binge of movies. So a lot of Shane's aesthetic is modeled off of Spike Lee's Do the Right Thing, his character Mars. So it's like with that, I'm really looking to be inspired by the time period and make sure that the different aesthetics match. And then I'm just drawing as much as possible. So like I probably drew Shane 30 different styles of them before I figured out like, okay, this is what I like from this character. This is what I like from this character. From there, I then go and I just like draw the other characters. So his family's in the story. So I wanted to make sure I draw his mother and father, make sure that they look similar in style and in relation. And then I'm making sure that they also have their own personality and charisma and distinguishable like characteristics before then going to more characters. So I try to get all the characters, as many characters as I can done. Because it's also important to me to make sure that the characters are consistent from scene to scene. So making sure that I can draw them from different angles and different poses and different movement so that they have a similar look from page to page. And then from there, so I send the characters, I get the characters approved, and then from there I get the green light to be able to go into the scenes. And for this one, there is a lot of mixed media throughout the text and throughout the pages of the book. And I have the book right here with me too. But I typically draw the characters first, or draw the images first, and then I'll go through and I'll do the collage afterwards. So this is like a city scene where there's like different pieces here. I'm just collaging over it.
Now, I want to see. Can we see the cover?
Yeah.
Look, it's so cute. I love it. And after you talked about the do the right thing, I can see how it has that look. This is just fascinating to me.
Yeah.
How you do the research, the art,
yeah,
and then the writer does her part. So this is so neat.
Yeah, and then I wanted to make sure that it felt like true to New York as well. So like looking up the different brownstones and just like the different styles of brownstones, looking to see how storefronts look in New York. Like the look of New York is very different than what I experienced in Atlanta. So I wanted to make sure that what I created felt true to the environment and the setting as well. And then like looking at all the movies too, was just like making sure that I did what New York looked like in the 90s so that it made sense for like, oh yeah, you know, there would be kids playing outside in this location, or this is what it would look like to be able to go into the house and see the different furniture, or what a kid's bedroom would look like in the 1990s, growing up in like the hip hop era.
Right. So this puts in all these little details. Like when you see these books, you don't realize all that goes in from the level of the art with the words, and then with all these illustrations. Plus, isn't it like the 50th anniversary or some kind of anniversary year for hip hop, isn't it?
Yeah.
This year?
Oh yeah, it's probably coming up. Yeah.
Yeah. This is so cool. I just love seeing this. And how do you feel? I mean, before the pandemic, would you have imagined that you would be here talking about this, or this would even be going on?
No, not at all. I think there was always something inside of me that wanted to be able to create books, but I think the pandemic was also like brutal in nature as well. But I think in like some of the tragedy of the pandemic, it also gave many of us a nudge to go after the things that we had put on hold, or that we didn't have the space or time to do. So I think I was grateful in that sense to be able to use that time in a way that could continue to, you know, bring me joy and, you know, use my imagination. So I think I'm just grateful that time and opportunity, because even just running as a school leader, the day is really, really packed. I also understand, like, for me to be able to do this long term, I have to find the time to draw even while, you know, being my best self at work. So I think that even pushed me more to like figure out what are the discipline, like strategies and habits that I need to create in order to make sure that I can continue to do the books in the way and in the quality that does the words and the author justice, but also makes it manageable for me.
Now, how are you fitting in the time? You have you married,
yeah,
to principal, so you've got a lot. How do you find that?
Yeah, I'm a very early person. So early is like I wake up at 4 a.m. and I'll draw from 4 a.m. to 6:30, and then I'll get up, get ready for work, and I'll be at work by 7:15. And then so I try to squeeze in at least 2 hours before I leave for work. And then at the end of the day, I'll do like 45 minutes or an hour before I go to sleep to finish anything that I started earlier in the day. So the pace right now is not the most ideal pace, but I don't know. I really enjoy it. Like I love school. I love being in school. So I want to make sure that I can still be able to meet that commitment. But the days are packed. Yeah, I have a wife. I have a almost 2-year-old now. He was born right after the first book had come out. So it's been busy. It's been a fun time managing these different seasons of life and being able to see my identity more as time progresses.
Right, and this is just a blessing to me to see, you know, have that love for the children, and now you're able to impact children in even a wider way than you were even as a principal. So this is so wonderful that you're able to do that.
Thank you.
Now, what other projects do you have upcoming? Big next month. Anything else coming up?
Yep. So I have another book, two more books coming out this year. So I have Repeat After Me, which is written by Jasmine Simon and Dule Hill, coming out May 2nd. That's through Penguin. With that book, it's a book of affirmations to read to young children, to be able to keep them inspired, but also just let them know that they're loved. Beautiful book written collaboratively between Jasmine and Dule. So that comes out May 2nd. And then sometime in the summer, I believe, the second Ari J book will come out as well. And then in 2024, I have a book coming out called Dante Plays His Blues, written by Alan Wells. And then I have Forever and Always, written by Brittany Thurman, coming out in 2024 as well.
Brittany Thurman.
Yeah.
She's from Louisville, Kentucky's my hometown where I grew up. She had 5, and we had her on, and her books are amazing.
Yeah. So I've had the privilege. I'm almost done with that one. So almost a final on that one.
So you are booked and busy. You're going to be moving on for years then with this.
Yeah. So I'm super grateful for the opportunities, and I think the way my perspective has kind of changed is being able to like build a collective body of work and continue to have books that are just aligned with my values and aligned with me affirming the identities of Black and brown children. So I'm excited to be able to have that opportunity and be given or just be on people's minds to be able to have the trust to be able to bring their books to life. Well,
that is wonderful. And then someone asked about if you had independent authors, but how did you, with your connection with your friend, is that how you got right into publishing, or would you?
Yeah, so that was my first, with Ayin, was the first time I got into publishing. That was through a small independent publisher called Orange Hat. And then she, at the time, wasn't agented. Since then, everybody else has been, since I got agented, everything I've done has been agented. So I probably want to do anything right now with independent publishers or writers, just because I'm already booked up with everything else, and to make it just continue to be sustained in the way that I'm able to find authors, but also have those extra resources that the big publishers provide. Because the thing that's the hardest part for me right now is this marketing, promotion thing. So as much resources as possible, the better.
Right, exactly. Mm-hmm. And then you, at the SCBWI conference I was in, I saw one of the Out of the Margins Awards.
Yeah.
So what? Yeah. That's something people could get involved in. If you're indie, you get an SCBWI award. Yeah.
Yeah. So that award was the first year they did that award, and it was to marginalized authors or illustrators to be able to get further support with marketing, promotion, publicity of their work. So it was it was an opportunity to be able to use the funds. So it came with a cash reward, and then also different mini lessons on different aspects of promotion and marketing, where we got to meet with different industry professionals on just like how to continue to get your work out there and strategies. So that was an excellent opportunity and a great award that I was truly grateful for. I've been able to use that money I'm currently having my website redesigned. It was able to support me to get out to SCBWI for the New York conference. And then myself and Aaliyah are working on 2 launches. So one launch happening in New Jersey on April 1st. And then I'm doing my own launch for Big Tune April 15th out here in Atlanta. So it's being able to allow us to be able to put resources out there to be able to increase exposure and just have like just a fun event that allows us to be able to engage the community, engage just book lovers while also having a lot of fun.
Well, that sounds amazing. And people who are asking about getting tapped into traditional publishing, if you join BWI, there's all kinds of other grants, scholarships, programs. That would be the first step I would suggest. And also a book that gives you listings of agents so you could pitch to be agented if you're interested.
Yep, and I would also just get involved in SCBWI, right? So like the SCBWI has been huge in just the development and progress of my career. So before the OMA Award was awarded, I had won the Winter Illustrator Showcase for the last winter conference. And then that allowed me to be able to talk with people while also increasing just exposure of my work. And then Sarah Baker has also allowed me to be able to, I was featured for last year's Black History Month reading list image, and then did the summer banner. So like all these different opportunities to just like create art, you know, engage with the different events, but also to just continue to cultivate those relationships. And like my strategy is just to get engaged in everything, right? Like just be able to meet as many people as I can, learn from as many sessions as possible, and then also just continue to build those relationships, just like really just like authentic relationships too, where I can see other people's work, but also allow them to be have access to my work as well.
Well, thank you so much, Shamar, for taking this time to share your journey, because this is just, it makes me feel good to see living in your purpose and sharing this beautiful work with all of us. And we can't wait to see the book when it comes out. And can you tell us again where people can buy it? Can we pre-order Big Tune now?
Yeah.
How do we?
Yeah. So if you're in the Atlanta area, I'd recommend you going to Brave and Kind Books. They're doing all the pre-orders locally. And then for other pre-orders, it's on Amazon, it's at Barnes & Noble, it's also on Bookshop. So there's all these different, those are the best other locations to get it from.
Oh, okay. And then how can they connect with you?
Yeah. The best way to connect with me is on Instagram. I'm like really responsive to DMs. You can also go to my website, and I have a button on my website that allows people to send me messages there as well. But Instagram will always be the best place to get an immediate response from me.
Okay, great. Well, thank you again, Shamar, for your time. And I can't wait to see Big Tune. And I have some family in Atlanta. Maybe I'll be down there in April.
Yeah, come by April 15th.
Yeah, because this sounds so fun. The book is fun, joyful picture for our kids. So that, and it's a different theme. So it's really exciting to see Aaliyah Agostani's words and your beautiful artwork presented. But thank you so much again for your time. Thank you everybody for tuning in, and we'll see you next week for another episode of Write This. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Tanya.
Bye-bye.